Hey guys, I just did a video on how I found out that I was pregnant. So I left that on my last video. So this video, I'm gonna try to make it a little shorter. I'm gonna try. But stories that have a story are long. Okay, so this is from me finding out I was pregnant until me giving birth. So if you're interested in the little story, stay tuned. So, backstory a little bit. I found out I was pregnant with my daughter almost at 6 months pregnant. If you want to hear that story about that, click on my last video. So, from the time I found out, I did my ultrasound. I found out that I was having a daughter. Super happy because I already have a 9-year-old son, and I've always wanted a daughter. And of course, I have my son. So, I'm talking to the doctor. I'm meeting my doctor for the first time too. And I missed like a majority of my pregnancy, like not knowing. So I wasn't on prenatal vitamins. I wasn't eating the healthiest, and some things I was eating, that they say not to eat when you're pregnant. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like freaking out. But everything was okay with the baby and everything. But my blood pressure was extremely high. So she put me on, I don't know if she put me that same day or I came back in a week or something, or 2 weeks, but she put me on high blood pressure medication. And because she's like, have you been feeling weird? And I think, yes, I was having like blurry vision, and I wasn't feeling like, and that was because of the high blood pressure. And I don't know if it was also because of the pregnancy, but I know now, like with your high blood pressure, you can have blurry vision, and you can get headaches, and you can feel kind of like off. So I got on that, um, and then I had to go for blood work, and my glucose, did I say it, glucose test for when you're pregnant. If you're a woman, you've been pregnant, you know what I'm talking about, where you go and you have to like drink this sugary drink and they have to take blood. But this time it was different, I guess, where I went, because the last time I remember, I had to stay for 3 hours and I had to take it before. Then I had to take it, I guess, in the middle, like maybe an hour after, and then I had to take it again, another blood thing, another hour after. But this time they made me drink the drink. Then I had to come back within an hour. I didn't have to stay in the office. Like I don't know if I had to stay in the office last time or if I just stayed in the office because, but last time I was pregnant, I didn't have, I stayed in that office. So I went out to my car for like an hour, or I went somewhere, came back, then they drew my blood. So it was fine. No diabetes. I was worried about that because I can't do needles. I can't even look at having blood taken. I can't. So that was fine. The other stuff came back okay. Um, so after that, me just being a worrier, like everything I do. And the most thing I worry about is eating, because when they tell you like you can't eat certain things, and make sure like everything is washed, your fruits and vegetables, and that your meat is cooked, I just start like having like OCD. Because the last time I was pregnant, I did the same thing. I would like worry about everything I ate and was like scared, because you hear these stories like, especially if you're pregnant, that you can get something called listeria. I think that's how you pronounce it. So basically it's like a bacteria, and it's like very, like, it could be very dangerous to you and to the baby. And sometimes you might not know you have it. So you hear story, I don't want to talk about the story, you just hear stories, and it like, maybe it doesn't freak some people out, but for me, it freaked me out. Not that I ever had it, but the fact that like something could happen to the baby, and from something so simple as like eating, like that just like is scary. So I was just like crazy. Like, I'd make sure like my meat is cooked, and I'd be like, if it's like a little pink, I'm like, oh, am I gonna get like sick, or the baby's gonna get sick? Or if a package looked weird, I would not get it. It didn't even have to be like cooked food. It could have been like something on the shelf. I would like get stuff from the back, or I would like get bottles from the back, and if they looked like something was wrong with it or dented, I wouldn't get it, or it's just something weird. Like, I would always check my food, make sure it's not expired. Um, I would wash my hands a lot. Not that washing your hands is good, but like, I would just be like eating chips, and I would be like, did I touch stuff before that because of bacteria and that can get into. I was just like crazy for the last like 3.5 months. Like, I was just like, and that doesn't seem like long, but when you're like constantly thinking, like, like what I'm eating and like what's in there and how is it, like, how could it have been at the restaurant, like, uh prepared and stored, and it just like gets in your head, like, you just go to another place. So besides that, you know I'm trying not to get too excited, and I don't know why. I did this the last time too. I think it's because for me, like, it's something that you want so badly that you just don't want to be completely happy until you have it. So for me, it's like in my head, I'm like, oh, if I celebrate, if I get too excited, like something will happen, because you're not guaranteed, like, even if you're out of like the first and second trimester, like, you're not guaranteed like everything will be smooth, everything will be okay, like, until you have your baby. So even though like I was already like almost in my third trimester, or I think I was, yeah, I was about to like enter that, I was still like acting like, not that I was acting like I wasn't pregnant, but I wasn't enjoying it, like being completely like calm. So I'm trying not to get too excited. I'm trying not to buy things until it's like literally like later on. So, I would like start looking at like the clothes and stuff, buying a few things, and then like the last few, like, I think when I had like 2 months left, I really started buying stuff, like, so, but still in my head, I was not getting too excited until like it was like probably like 2 weeks to my due date. I'm like, okay, like, she's really like gonna be here. And I was always like, if she didn't move enough, I was like in my head, like, oh, is she okay? Like, is something wrong with her? I would like move my stomach, and it's not like a healthy thing, obviously, but my anxiety, I was trying not to be like worried, but like, it's just because it's something that I want so badly, and it's not like something you can just like go and get from the store. So you're not like worried about it, or you're not like saving up money, like, oh, I can get this laptop, maybe I can't get it right now, but I can go save up for it. It's like, some people can just have a baby easily, and then some people can't. So I've been trying, and it wasn't working, and then finally I am, and I'm like, I cannot let anything happen, because you just like, then this is something, the most important like gift. So it's like, you can't just go and like get another one. Like, this is like, and this is like my chance. Like, this is, I've been waiting for this. I've been like dreaming. I've been dreaming of this. So, been going to my doctor's appointments. My blood pressure would be still kind of high, and I'm thinking like it's her blood pressure machine, because when I was going to like um I was also having like hospital visits in between, just for different things, or like my paranoia, like my stomach was hurting. I'm like, oh, maybe something's wrong. One time I thought I had listeria, because I'm like reading online, like, I having some stomach pain. They tell you not to go online to read stuff. So I had a hospital visit. My blood pressure was fine. I had another hospital visit. That one was at the beginning of the year. After I found out I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant, I think December 14th or 15th, and by like January, like 2nd or 3rd or 4th, somewhere around there, I go to the hospital. I wasn't feeling well. I find out that I got COVID while I'm pregnant. And it's crazy because, you know, it's been like almost 2 years. Yeah, because COVID started in 2019, it's 2022. And I didn't get COVID at all during that time. And I was like, I think as careful as I could have been, like wearing a mask, not like hanging out with people, trying to like, as much as you can because, you just, it's hard. So I didn't get COVID at all. No one in my family that I know of got COVID. So I didn't have COVID. When I'm pregnant, right, I get COVID. And I'm still being careful. I'm still wearing my mask. I'm still like not like hanging out with whoever. I don't know how I got it. It could have been from anything. Um, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the baby. But the baby was fine. Everything was fine. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like it was bad, like where you feel kind of like sick, but like I was fine. Like I was like breathing okay, and you know I'm thankful that it wasn't worse, and obviously because I was pregnant as well. So I finally get over that. I have to get tested again before I can go back to my doctor, and then you know that's in January, and then I had another hospital visit because my stomach was hurting really bad. And then I think it was just like pregnancy stuff. Like I was fine, after. And then I think the month after that, or a few weeks after that, yeah, um, a scary story. So I was in a store, and I have days when I'm pregnant where I'm not feeling as well. Like maybe I just feel kind of tired or kind of like sick, but not sick like where I'm nauseous, but just not feeling well. Like it's hard to explain. So I think I was feeling okay that morning. So I went into the store and I just started feeling like weird, like just weird. And we weren't in there that long. I was with my partner, so him and I are going to the checkouts, and we're standing in line, and all of a sudden I'm just standing there and I just feel like weird. So I just feel like my body just feels weird, and I just feel like my head just starts feeling weird, and I'm like, I'm gonna go outside, like I'm gonna get out of the store, like because he's buying something, I didn't have anything to get, so I'm like, I'm gonna go out. So I'm like walking out of the line and around the registers, and all of a sudden I feel so dizzy. I'm about to walk out the door and I just fall, and I'm like, I'm over 6 months pregnant, probably 7 months. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm like seven. I think I'm like 7 months pregnant at this time. I don't fall on my stomach though, thankfully. I fall to my knees. And like everyone starts rushing over to me, which was nice. And I'm just like, I didn't pass out, but like I fell. And it's like, like, when you like see movies, or maybe you've had this moment where it's like they do it in the movies where like the person is like discombobulated, and like they hear like it sounds like like kind of like you're like underwater where you can't really hear what someone's saying, but you can hear like sounds. That's kind of like what it was like. I was like trying to like focus, and like people are talking to me, and I don't want to move from the ground. I'm like on my knees, and I don't want to get up because I'm not feeling like good to get up. So I think they're trying to like lift me, or like ask me to lift, if they could lift me, and I just like don't like want to. And I'm like, I don't see my partner because he's like on the other side of like the register where there's like it's hard to explain, but he couldn't see me. So finally I start like yelling for him. Sorry, baby, my baby's sleeping next to me. So I start like yelling for him, and then he finally like sees me because he didn't know what happened, and he's like runs over to me, and then he like helps me up with someone else onto like a chair. And people are like asking me if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, do you need me to call an ambulance? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And I'm trying to just like breathe and like calm down. So someone nice, a lady buys me a water, and I'm drinking that, and then I'm like there for a few more minutes, and then we just like leave the store. Like we just left the store. So then he took me to the hospital where I was going to deliver at, which was not close by the way, from where we were, but that's fine. I was just like worried. Um, we get to the hospital. I go up to the room, and I tell them what happened, and they put me on like the monitors, and the baby, you know, the baby's heartbeat, everything's fine. Then I do an ultrasound, and everything's fine. So that was really scary. Falling, and especially like I was further along, and thankfully I didn't fall on my stomach. My doctor thinks it could have been like, I guess, like my sugar, or I guess because she asked me like what I ate this morning, and I had like a bagel and like a donut, and she thinks like that could have been why. So basically, that was that. I was paranoid after, like making sure I would sit a lot so I wouldn't have that again. I didn't fall again, but there was maybe once or twice after that I felt like that same type of feeling that I felt before that happened. So I made sure that I sat down, because at least if I would be sitting, or I'd be laying back, so I knew that like I would be okay. Um, but other than that, um, yeah, that was just a scary moment. So, you know, as time is going by, I'm getting closer to my date to have the baby, but it still feels like it's taking so long, because when you really want something and you have to wait, it's like it feels like it's just taking longer, at least for me. So finally, um so I already knew I was going to have a C-section. I had one with my son, and the plan was again to have one with my daughter, because we really didn't know, and I forgot why, the exact reason they wanted me to have one with my son, because it's been so long. I forgot like the exact reason why they said that. But basically, this doctor didn't want me to have a regular delivery, not having enough information. She thought it'd be safer for me to have another C-section, and I thought that too, because I'm like, let's just do that. And as you're counting down, you're like, oh, I'm gonna meet my baby. You want to make sure everything's going okay, but then you're also like, okay, I also know I'm gonna have surgery, and it's been so long, and I'm freaking scared. Like, I am so scared, because I'm gonna meet my baby, but I'm also gonna be going through a surgery, and it's having a C-section is definitely it's it's hard. It's hard. It really is. So I know I'm gonna have I go into the hospital to schedule my cesarean, and they say, okay, you're gonna have your baby at 39 weeks, and I'm like I'm gonna have my baby a week, because a week when you're pregnant, and especially when you get down to like having your baby, a week is like a long time. So you're like a week off, like a week earlier, you just feel like, oh my gosh, like I don't have to wait a whole extra week, because it feels like a week feels probably like a month. When you're starting to get like 7 months pregnant, when you are 7 months pregnant, at least for me, you just feel everything. Like it's hard to move around, to get up, to sleep. You're going to the bathroom constantly. It's uncomfortable. Like even sitting up or trying to lay back, every position is uncomfortable. Trying to walk is uncomfortable. It just feels like you just cannot get a break. Like it just feels like uncomfortable. Your clothes don't fit right. You feel really big. It's crazy. Another thing, when I was pregnant, I actually lost weight. So before I found out I was pregnant, even though I was still pregnant, I weighed myself, and um and I started losing weight because I wanted to lose weight, but I didn't know I was pregnant yet. So then I'm losing weight. I go to my doctor's office when I find out I'm pregnant, and I'm continuing to still lose weight. And then the last few months, I stayed the exact same weight, and I'm like, that's crazy. And I wasn't even eating crazy to gain weight, but when you're pregnant, you gain weight. But I literally lost weight when I was pregnant with my daughter, and with my son, I think I gained like 20 pounds, which still isn't a lot. Some women gain a lot more, and I don't know if it's just because their bodies, or maybe they're eating a lot. So I was really proud of myself because I'm already heavier, and I didn't want to put on a whole bunch of weight because it's also like high risk, you know, when you're heavier. And I'm glad that my doctor I felt really comfortable with, and she didn't make me feel like, because I'm overweight, she didn't make me feel like a piece of crap, you know. That's like a whole other, well, I'm gonna get into that a little bit, but I'm gonna do a part 2 to this. So let me click off this video and then I'll do a part 2.